Hello, everyone, and welcome to the VGF Strat Corner podcast, the sexiest podcast on the net, where we bring you the raunchiest details, tips, and tricks from our own personal.
The who's who, the what's what.
I am your host, Scott, Zhang on the boards, and as always,
the sexiest host ever made.
Why, thank you very much, sir. My co-host, the sexiest man alive, John Akazama, Dan the man. What's up, buddy?
Oh, stop it. That's just with my clothes on.
My goal is to make you blush through the speaker. That's what I try to do. So, well, kiddies, we are on to an exciting podcast this time. Lars Alexandersson.
Are you sick?
Me?
Yeah.
No, why?
You sound a little sick.
Do I?
I mean, you still got the Barry White thing going on. I was just curious. Okay, sorry.
No, for all our listeners, I'm not sick. I must just be talking funny today. I don't know. But anyway, so we got Lars today. I know you're excited, Dan, for Lars.
Yay!
Because you love all. Yeah, because I know that you love all the testicular cancer patients out there that cling to his nuts.
You guys are some morons.
So it's really exciting. So before we get in I actually like Lars, so I'm not going to badmouth him too much, but I'll definitely throw some stuff out there for those who have some Lars issues. But before we get started, do you have anything to add in our little
brought to you by
Thank you.
Not saying it.
You're not saying it?
Okay. Okay. You say it.
On the count of three. Rock, paper, scissors for it. This is brought to you by Extends, people. Yes. Never forget that.
Try it out.
Yeah. Oh, and I know I already corrected Noodles on the thread, but it's EXTENZE.
And
right.
Just so you know,
love it.
Celebrities take Extends. You know who used to take it? The Joker.
The Joker.
That's a fact.
I know. Who was it? Jimmy Johnson. Wasn't he an Extends spokesman too? I think.
Dude is perpetual.
Yes, it is. It is very true.
That's a good observation you got there.
I think I'm fairly certain, if my memory does serve, that he was a spokesman.
Extends. Not only can you keep it going all night long, ladies, but
you'll win
Super Bowls.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be a Super Bowl champion. So. For all those dudes out there with hopes and dreams, we're just saying. We're just saying. That's all we're doing.
We're just plugging.
Yeah, we're just giving you the advice that no one else will give you, the stuff that will really help. So, all right. Well, let's actually talk some business. Business. Okay, so for Lars, our quick little summary. He's below average or average tracker, depending on how you look at him. His grabs are subpar. He has a few that others don't have, but we'll get into that. And just in general, he's a very unsafe character if you play him to win, that is. So let's get into that. I really want to talk about the safety issue because at least me personally, that's my big thing when I think about Lars.
I think his lack of a real rushdown game with I don't know, his grabs, even lows that he can really use. He has to be played very, very turtily. He's real solid in the punishing department, except for long range. His long range punisher blows, but I mean he's good otherwise.
It depends. What long range punisher are you thinking of?
He doesn't have like a real long range launcher like a Nina back 1+4.
No, yeah, I guess no real long range. But, well, okay, I guess, are you talking block punishing then, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Like, I want to say that he does.
He has, like, that kicks thing, doesn't he? I don't know what it is, forward 3 or whatever. No, that's the dash.
I'm probably thinking of back 3-4, but that's more of a whiff. Yeah, but that's more of a whiff punishing thing because the back 3 is 20 for. I mean, that's not fast.
All right, yeah, okay, then he's garbage from long range.
Well, not really. I mean, that's still really good on whiff.
But I'm just talking on block, really.
Yeah, on block, if he gets pushed away, it's a little hard.
Like, what does he get off of Kuma forward 2?
I don't know.
Is he summoning? Or a long-range death fist?
Yeah, I really don't know. I don't think not much of anything, because, I mean, his shoulder doesn't go very far. Back 3-4 is like...
All right.
It's only really on whiff.
And then, I mean, he's solid in all the other punishing areas and everything. It's just,
the fact that you, I mean, once he hits 13, he starts launching you. I mean, that's pretty rough. But
I think he just has to bait attacks, punish shit, occasionally throw out his panic buttons just enough to scare you. I don't know, set up sidestep launcher shit. Because, I mean, his only safe launcher is up forward 4, right?
Yeah.
And that thing tracks for garbage.
Yeah, that's true. I think, like, to kind of go back to the punishing thing, I mean, you're right. He does have to be played like a turtle. But, okay, so just for all those who aren't really Lars players out there, so you have 1-2, or, I mean, I suppose you could do 2-1 as well at 10 frames. And then at 12, he has forward 2-4.
It is juicy.
It is very juicy. Does a ton of damage. Wall stuns. Yeah, I mean, it's very deadly. And at 13, 13 gets up forward 3, which is his version of the hop kick. I do want to ask though, like, because up forward 3, it's instant 13, but he can't always punish 13 frame moves. Negative 13, I don't think.
Huh.
Because I think there's some moves that for whatever reason.
Then I don't know the situation. Maybe it's actually 14, and sometimes people are getting 13 because they're doing the jump cancel shit, like old school Demon Scissors, where you can hit up forward before you hit 3-4, and it makes it a frame faster. Maybe that's why.
That could be it. That could be very well. Because I know, like, from our own testing that we've done, not you, me personally, but just in general, like when I was testing out Lars, I know that it doesn't punish all negative 13 frame moves, but like you said, I mean, I play Lars, but I'm not such a hardcore Lars player to know if there's like a cancel or something there that I'm not doing. But regardless, I mean, it definitely punishes everything at 14, for sure.
It's solid if it hits.
Yeah, it's very solid if it hits.
If it's blocked, I mean, noobs will miss shit because of that recovery, but it's minus 21. You can do instant while standing moves to punish it.
Yeah, and that is something to be noted. I'm glad you brought that up. If you're playing against Lars, that move, as good as it is, it's negative 21 on block, but what throws people off, especially people who don't play against Lars very often, is that he recovers crouching, and not just crouching, but...
Yeah, better than crouching.
Yeah, it's better than crouching. And if you attack too early, it'll float him. So it's a little tricky to get down that window if you're not used to it. I mean, if you have a character like, I don't know, just because we did him not too long ago, but Law. I mean, Law can just do flip kicks, no big deal. So I mean, you can do.
We covered how low those hit.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. They're slow enough that it allows him to land, but at the same time, they're still fast enough to hit him.
What I don't know is why people are so comfortable, like, punishing upward 3 with jabs as he's coming down. Just wait for him to land and kill him.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I really haven't noticed that all that much. When I play against Lars, like, I guess the first few times, I had a little bit of an issue with it because, obviously you're not used to the moves. You're like, what the fuck is this garbage? But I don't know. I think it doesn't take all that long to get used to that. So if anybody out there is doing that and floating him, yeah, I don't really see the point of that either.
You're a full launcher.
Yeah, just wait and launch. But I mean, be careful though that it's a mid launcher, and preferably something that hits really low.
The other thing I don't like, I mean, it's a really good panic button. It'll get you out of a lot of shit because it ducks fast. It's considered a jump move, I think, like right away. And everything, but it's only like medium reward, unless you get to the wall.
Off of up 4-3 or?
Yeah.
Because it depends on what juggle you're using. I mean, if you're just doing the pretty simple while standing 2-1 right after it, and that's not too bad. But I mean, most people, at least for me, I'm not even a Lars player, and it's not really all that hard to switch the juggle and do while standing 2 and then do forward back 2-1, which does considerably more damage, and it takes your opponent farther. So I don't know. I think he gets pretty. I mean, at least in my opinion, he gets pretty juicy damage off of it.
He gets juicy damage for what it is. That's for sure. I'm not disputing that. But I mean, like, if you're going to compare it to like his forward 2 damage, for him it's a significant drop. Like, he's a high damage juggle character.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I agree with that. I guess relative to his other juggles and juggle starters, whatever you want to call them. Yeah. I guess I could agree with that. Like,
if you're going to get hit with a launcher from him, go for that one.
Yeah, if you're going to get hit by a launcher.
If you've accepted fate.
Yeah, that you're going to hit.
Throw out a -13.
But the whole topic, though, of 4-3 is something that we should discuss, because I think that a lot of people, I mean, you and I, we don't put him in top tier, but a lot of people do, and I feel like that's all why they put him in top tier.
Oh, for sure.
Move. And as good as it is, and as good as it is, I mean, it's a very, very good move. I would say that it's the best panic move in the game, because it does everything that you could possibly want a panic move to do. But even with that, I mean, yeah, just block. It's that simple. I mean, just play. He, like you said, I mean, he has to be a turtle in order to be extremely effective. But if you,
against shitty Lars players, I just bait that move. Just come on, please,
yeah.
Throw it out.
And I guess going back to the whole Steve thing, I mean, Steve is way better at pressuring than Lars is, in my opinion. And
oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if you just play patient, and make Lars come to you, I don't think you have that big of a problem. But the pressuring tools is something that we should discuss, because he does have some pressuring tools.
That sidestep move.
Sidestep 2. Sidestep 2 is really good.
Yeah,
Sidestep 2 is amazingly good. I mean, it does really good damage on hit. And then if it grounds, and if it grounds you, you know, I mean, he has the pickup options, you know, and he has a lot, because his down forward 1, at least like the hit boxes on it are a lot better than most characters' down forward 1, and it picks up really, really well. So with very, very little effort, he can relaunch you, and especially
because of his juggle damage.
Yeah, and it's exactly. It's pretty nasty if he does launch you, because of his overall juggle damage. And then let's see, he has down back 2. You can do down back 2. Although I personally, since it leaves him in crouch, I'm not a huge fan of it. But it's still something to keep the pressure on. He has down forward 1+2. Which is a really good move.
What's that?
It's a
down forward Tom Brady. What is that?
Down forward Tom Brady. It's kind of like a spinning chop, mid chop. Let me see what.
Sounds like crap. Sounds like crap.
Let me see what the exact frames on it here for you. Down forward 1+2. It is +4 on block. So I mean, it's really good. If it hits.
It's okay.
It's I'm sorry. It's +2 on +2 on block, +4 on hit, and on counter hit it knocks you down. And leaves you in the same.
I know what you're talking about.
And it leaves you, if it hits counter hit, it leaves you in the same position that sidestep 2 does.
The move I like.
Yeah, but that's like one of my main issues with Lars. Like he doesn't really have a whole lot to put you in negative that's fast, because even down forward 2.
Yeah.
And I use down forward 2 quite a bit, because the whole idea with Lars, at least when I play him, is to try to get you to slow down so I can throw out my really slow shit. But down forward 2 is 24 frames in order to get out. Down back 2 is 15, which is considerably quicker, but I mean...
The thing that, like, when Lars gets frames, like, why I'm not concerned, you know, even if it was +4 on block or whatever, is he doesn't have a magic 4, he doesn't have, like, a Steve 1-2-1, or, you know, well, not Steve, actually, like a Dragunov 1-2-1. He doesn't have anything, like, fast that says, all right, fucking slow down, stop it.
Yeah.
He has to throw out punishable moves, or, you know, even like you're saying, slower, down back 2 is 15, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If he had a magic 4, fuck off after those moves.
Yeah. I feel like I'm off, because down back 2, Wait, I don't think that's the right move. I don't think that's the move I'm looking for.
Down back 2-1?
No. Because down... Man, I feel like I have my notations all fucked up. Sorry, down 2, not down back 2. I was like, wait, because I was looking at the frame data for that move. I was like, wait, that's not right at all.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of down 2. Down back 2 is actually really good. Sorry, I completely mixed up my notation there, so sorry for the listeners. Down 2 is an elbow, a mid elbow that makes you recover crouch. Lars recovers crouch as well, but yeah, sorry. I had to correct myself because I was looking at the frame data. I was like, this isn't right. I'm mixing up my notations, but.
How fast is while standing 2-1?
While standing 2-1?
Yeah.
Let's see. While standing 2 is 13 frames.
All right. So he's solid even in the while standing punishing game too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because at 15 he doesn't even have to. I mean, well, I guess at 13 and beyond he's still doing the hop kick, but he can get while standing 1 too at 15. So no, I mean he's very good. And his while standing 4 is pretty standard. Nothing too crazy about it.
Just the thing that I would do, I mean, like if you're fighting a Lars and you're trying to like, I don't know, mess with his risk versus reward because a lot of it's really good. He is solid in risk versus reward there.
Because he hits so
is that what? Yeah, that while standing 1 or whatever. Because I don't know, he has that teleport option. I mean, if you know that people are doing that by default or whatever, just set yourself up at like a solid range or whatever, and that's when you should go for your lows. That would be that punishable, just to make sure that like he's teleporting to fuck up his juggle, or he's gonna have a harder time hitting the wall after he punishes with that, because it launches like if he doesn't teleport behind him, it gives them a funny launch where juggling them and keeping them going is a little bit harder.
Yeah. Okay, well, expand on what you mean by the teleporting. You just mean like doing his dynamic entry across.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's what it is. But or I'm sorry, I guess that version is the silent entry. The dynamic one is the one.
The dash after.
The dash that makes you go underneath.
It does good damage. I mean, like in the open field, and if say the wall is behind him or whatever. But it's a little bit rougher when he has to go forward after while standing 1. I think.
Okay, so like explain a situation to me where. So you have your back against the wall, you're low.
Yeah, let's say you actually want to take a risk, with a low or whatever against Lars.
Okay.
Try to, I don't know, set yourself up in a situation where, I don't want to say like you have long range to go, but you could, like just position yourself between him and the wall in like a decent space. Because, I mean, if you're really close to the wall, he's just going to he could while standing 1 and then shoulder you or some shit, to get like,
you to the wall.
Plus. Yeah, but he's not going to get a whole bunch of damage. Like, he's not going to be able to do a whole bunch of hits to try to hit you to the wall. You know what I'm saying?
I guess not, because no matter what situation, whether his back is to the wall or whether it's away from the wall, he can still get you to the wall. Because with the wall standing options, he can hit.
Not him. I mean you.
Okay, so you have your back against the wall.
Yeah, your back is to the wall. Say maybe a decent range. Try to position yourself in situations where, after he hits you while standing 1, you make it so he doesn't want to teleport to do the big damage combo going the other way.
I guess
because he wants wall. He wants to do his wall filth.
Yeah. Well, I guess in that regard, just if you're the Lars player, you don't have to do while standing 1. I mean, you can do while standing or up forward 3.
You could.
Because I mean, if I'm playing Lars and your back is against the wall, I mean, it's stupid of me to do while standing 1 because of the funky launch. If you don't do his silent entry and go behind him.
But I mean, he's still not going to be able to hit a whole lot of hits off of up forward 3 or 2, right?
No, it'll wall splat just like normal.
Well, no, I'm saying like okay, again, like you're not back to the wall. You're like. A
little bit distance out.
Yeah, a little bit of a distance out. So he does up forward 3, and then he does like while standing 2 into that juggle that you're talking about. I mean, he's not going to get nearly as many hits as usual, right? So you're basically creating a better risk versus reward situation.
I would actually argue against that because after the up forward 3, I don't really, there's no real distance that I can think of, unless he's just too far away to get you to the wall, period, that he can't wall splat you with good options. Because, like, after the up forward 3, and we're just assuming from crouch, he's punishing you for doing a while standing move. So you do up forward 3. If you're close enough, that will just give you a regular wall splat, and it'll actually give you a high wall splat, depending, if you're really, really close. If you're just a little bit ways away, you can do the while standing 2-1 and just go straight into the bound, if you don't think that the forward back 2-1 will hit properly. So that will give you a bound right at the wall, and then he can go into his wall fill.
All right, let's say you're a little bit farther than that. Like, what I'm talking about is like a half screen situation.
Okay.
And he's at half screen, and if he does up forward 3, right? Even if he does he gets the full forward back 2-1 or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's less damage than he's used to before bound.
Even if he does that afterwards?
Yeah, because what I'm saying is a lot of characters will use their launcher, and then, like, rather than bounding you before they get you to the wall, they'll try to use
you to the wall.
They'll send you to the wall, then bound you at the wall, and then fucking kill you.
Well, if I'm...
See?
Well, see, I would have to double check on that, because I think that after the wall standing 2, that you can do down back 2-1, and it'll connect. And just,
I mean, that'll get him some ways still.
And even if that doesn't, if you actually just do...
I'm sure he's got something else, like a down back 2-3 or whatever the fuck that is. That'll help too, but it just seems like a better risk versus reward situation. Like, if you're going for better risk versus rewards.
Okay, yeah, I guess in the
spatially on the map.
In the general scheme of things, if you want to take a less,
because he'll fucking kill you on the wall, no doubt.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I see what you're saying. I just think that, I mean, even if he does bound you before the wall, you're still taking a ton of damage.
Oh, so for sure. I'm just going for the least of evils.
Okay. All right, I get you. I guess I just don't see it as, like, so less of an evil that it's really all that. But it does bring up an important point, the whole spacing, the idea of spacing with him.
Yep.
If you're playing against him, because he does have some pretty good tools to bridge the gap, like forward 12, forward 1+2. That move is really good. I mean, it's
have you shown me the pain there?
Yeah, it tracks really well. On block, it has ridiculous pushback, so you're not punishing him. You're not even coming remote.
It even recovers good too.
Yeah, it recovers good. I'm actually kind of curious, just without the pushback, what its recovery is. Don't check that here. It's only -11, so even if somehow you're in this fortuitous situation where you're close enough to hit him, you're only getting...
Fuck yeah!
Yeah, you're only getting jabs. But there is something... I mean, on counter hit, it gives you a juggle, so obviously we don't need to go into that, because he's just going to bring the pain. But on regular counter hit, he is...
What?
Not regular counter. A regular hit, it knocks you down, and it does allow enough for a tech roll. But I want to ask you: do you think he has anything dangerous from for the range 2 or so? Because I mean, he does have a Shining Wizard, but he, at least in my opinion, he doesn't really have a whole lot to run up and scare you.
No. Again, like when he's in a situation where the other person's turtling and they're not giving up counter hits, and he has a hard time cracking shells. That boy needs to study some shredder film or something. He cannot break a turtle because his lows are such crap, and when somebody actually blocks just about any of his lows, I mean, it's fucking Pain City.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay,
and he's not getting much off of his grabs. I mean, as cool as it is that his Shining Wizard, it's an air throw, and he has that. That is an advantage. I'll give him that he gets credit. But, I mean, if he hits a grab, whatever, his mix-ups suck, if he even really has them.
Yeah, I would say, for the most part, after his grabs...
You're going to run up, down 1-3 them, get launched for half-life?
Yeah, most of it, actually, I know one thing that I noticed about Lars just in general, and this includes his grabs, is that a lot of his moves, unless they hit you counter hit, they kind of just knock you away and reset it. So, and he doesn't really have a lot of tools that he can run up and just quickly put you in a 50-50 mix-up. Unless he just plans on running up and, I don't know, up forward 3 or something.
Yeah, and I'll say it again. I mean, you just sidewalk Lars all day. Let him hit you with back 1. It's garbage. It'll never even do anything on counter hit. It's sure he gets like some frames or whatever, but it's just the same situation again. I'm going to sidestep. I'm going to keep doing it until he starts doing back 1 more than he wants to. Then you just space it out and kill him.
Yeah, I will say that back 1 is a very good move, but that's one of another things that I think a lot of people put him in top tier because of that move. And I mean, that's a move like that is a lot like Fang's back 4. I mean, it's such a good complement if you have the rest of the moves to go with it, because then
people will just let you do it.
So I mean, I mean, as a move itself, it's very good. I mean, it's quick for a move that pretty much just homes in on you no matter where you go. For a poke, it does pretty decent damage. It says it does 19 damage, which is pretty good. But yeah,
make him do it.
Yeah, and
19 damage versus giving him, counter hit damage and all that crap. Up forward 4s, letting him abuse that.
Yeah, and I agree. And even on block, I mean, back 1, it damn near gives you a punish if you block it.
What is it?
It's -9, and it says -9 to 8. So I would imagine that in certain situations it gives you nothing.
Probably off-axis blocks.
Yeah.
Like certain ways will give him -9. Yeah, -9 for you listeners is my don't fuck around frames, because there are certain moves like that. Afterwards you can just do like a 12-frame low move. They can't do shit. They have to either just choose to eat it or whatever. I mean.
Yeah. No,
you can do jabs and really step them.
Yeah, especially if Lars player is off axis, then it's really bad.
Makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, I personally like back 1, but I'm not spamming that move. It's not over. I mean, that's like one of the best closers in the game. Where you can
what is it on hit?
Throw it at.
What's the frames on back 1?
+3 to 4. So again, if you're like at a certain angle.
Your situation is even better than his after he does it. If he hits you because he guessed right that you were going to walk, he gets less frames than if you guessed right and just chose to block.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And, like I just said, I like back 1. I think it is a useful tool, but just by itself, I mean, I can't put that move in the god tier of all moves.
It doesn't complement the rest of his game.
No, it really doesn't. Especially considering that you have to play as a turtle with him to be really, really effective. Back 1 is a move to make you stop moving. So I don't really...
Wait a minute. Yeah. Don't move.
Yeah, so that back 1, up forward 3 are 2 moves that I think are just way over-exaggerated as far as their effectiveness. I mean, up forward 3 is way good, don't get me wrong, but I don't know.
It is not what we in the industry call quotey fingers abusable and quotey fingers.
Yeah, but I mean, that's some other moves, though, I mean, that we should discuss, because when people are talking about Lars, they're talking about, like a 10 to 15 set of awesome moves, and we have those 2. Forward 12 is amazing at range. Really? I mean, that move is really, really good. I do like that move. Down back 2-1, I do love that move as well. I think that.
Ooh, I've got one. I will give him forward 2. The risk versus reward is insane.
Oh yes, absolutely it is, because I mean, you figure, if he hits it, he's getting mass damage. And if you block it, it's only -13. So whatever. I'll take my 12 frames, or my 12.
Yawn.
Yeah, I'll take my 12 frame punish, whatever it is you have, and then I'll just do it again. And yeah, you can hit me 5 times with your 12 frame.
If he had good throw wake ups, that with forward 2, I mean, he would be top tier. I would give him that even without a magic 4 of it. Ugh.
I also like back 2-1. A lot of people praise that move. I don't see a lot of Lars players using back 2-1 a whole lot, but it does have a tracking issue, so I can understand that. But I like the fact that it's safe, mid, and the second hit is hit confirmable because it gives you a little bit of a delay.
Oh, yeah.
Any moves in general that give you a delay that they can't interrupt is gold in my book. Because
it's helped to control, but
yeah.
Again, he doesn't really, doesn't support his shit. He's got it, and it's a good move for sure. Like hit confirm, I'm going to play it safe, but
Yeah, and then okay, so we got all of his I would say all of his standing moves pretty much in order, at least all the big ones. I mean, up forward forward. I see people using that, but I mean, in reality, it's really slow. I mean, it's a good low crush, I guess.
It bounces. It's a multi-purpose move.
I mean, it's very good, but again, it's one of those things where you really have to be in the right situation for it to be good. Because you can't just throw it out. I mean, if you have somebody who's just jab happy, all of a sudden you're in the air. You're getting bounded. So
they don't even have to be jab happy. They can just be taking their time, mixing up their attacks, and hit you.
And like you said, it's very linear. So I mean, you just go right around it. But he doesn't really have a whole lot to, I mean, put you in negative. I mean, I guess he can just keep jabbing you, doing one, because, I mean, that's +1 on block, but, I mean, that's about it. Because I mentioned down forward 12 earlier.
And that doesn't set him apart from the pack at all.
No. I mean, down forward 12, if I were to pick a main pressure move, one pressure move that he has, it's got to be down forward 12.
I like sidestep 2.
Yeah, well, sidestep 2 is good, too. Sorry, yeah, I should mention that. But, I mean, those two moves. But even sidestep 2, down forward 12 is 24 frames. Sidestep 2 is 25. So it's not like you're just throwing it out and it's just boom coming out like that. The only reason that he wouldn't get hit out of sidestep 2, it does have good priority, just as a move in general.
Oh man.
And,
no, you didn't.
But he has. I mean, he's sidestepping when he's doing it. So if you're not hitting him, I mean, that's probably why. Because he's just did a little sidestep and steps your move.
And you even know that's going to be my rant.
Oh. All right.
Oh, you're getting assaulted, buddy.
Okay. Well, anyway, let's move on to the lows. Because if you're going to crack turtles, that's what you need is lows. And I know you and I feel sort of the same way about this. I just see it as him as an overall character. He's not the safest character in the world because even though, like you mentioned, the forward 2, even though the risk reward on it heavily favors him, it's still -13. So if you have a Law or somebody else, who can do some massive damage and completely change the momentum of a match.
If people are keeping in mind how punishable it is, most of the cast can hurt you at least a little at 12,
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
Risk versus reward, good, but, you can't win just with it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just, throwing it out there. Even though it's a very useful tool, you can still punish it. Everything else that gets him massive damage, with the exception of maybe sidestep 2, it's punishable. Or for the most part, it's just slow. It doesn't come out very quick. So he has to try to lock you. If he's going to pressure you, he has to try to lock you down with jabs and take huge risks, which
create panic button situations.
Exactly, and that's kind of goes in with his lows. I mean, forward 4-3 is juicy. I mean, that's practically a hell sweep, except it doesn't knock down. But I mean, I would say that's almost an advantage. Because when people...
Yeah, some characters, getting frames is a good situation. But, again, Lars doesn't have, a Magic 4 or whatever, so you're just...
No, he does not have a Magic 4. He actually does, as far as I know, he has no really quick counter-hit tool.
So after he hits me with that, I either space him out or sidestep.
Yeah. I mean, he has shoulder, which is 13 frames, but, I mean...
Block that.
Yeah. I mean, it's terrible on block, but yeah. So I mean, I can't think of anything. I mean, maybe if you just jabs. I mean, that's all I can think of is jabs.
Eat that.
Yeah. But back to his lows, he has forward 4-3, which I think is amazing. I do love that move. But if you block it, I mean, it's -16, so he's getting launched for sure. Let's see, you have forward 34, which I actually do like that move. I do like forward 3+4 because it's really weird. I mean, just in general, like, it's just really, really weird. So unless you're just sitting there blocking it, expecting it to come, I mean, a lot of the times it'll hit you and, like, put you both off access, making it really weird to punish, and it just has a really, really weird dynamic to it. But, so, yeah, you have that, and it does a pretty good, decent amount of damage, especially considering the range, and it goes under people. But, again, it's slow. I mean, you have to do the extra forward motion, and it's 20 frames by itself, so, I mean, it's not coming out extremely quick. But neither is forward, forward 3. I mean, forward, forward, 4-3, sorry.
Yep.
So, I mean, that moves 21 frames without the extra forward, so depending on how fast you're doing the forward, 4-3. I know...
My job is so easy here. I get to just let you handle the business, and then later on, when you finish, I get to bitch.
Well,
my job on this podcast is so easy.
Well, I'm going to just keep listing stuff off, and then when I'm done, you can just go at it. So, other than those two moves... down 3-1. There's a little kick. I mean, that's...
Oh, that?
Yeah, for the most part, that's not really all that scary. I mean, in order for the 1 to even hit, it has to be counter hit unless you're just not blocking. Down back 1-3, I know a lot of people like to use that. It's nice that the down back 1 goes under highs, but...
And it's super fast, I'll give him that. But...
The only thing that's tricky with that move is that he can hold down and go into his dynamic entry. I mean, that's because especially if you're not used to Lars, that can create some really weird setups because you're just not used to him spinning around and all of a sudden being 2 character lengths away from you. So he can launch you off of that if you're not careful. But I mean, really, whatever.
Yeah,
it's decent damage, I guess.
And because it's basically a low jab. I mean, the range. If he does both hits or whatever, that thing whiffs. You just duck. If the kick came out, you duck it. But then you just fucking kill him.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm pretty sure that kick is high.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Duck the kick.
Or not kick, or high. I'm pretty sure it's mid. But even then, it doesn't matter because it's -15. Even if he does the down, he's still getting launched before he's able to even spin out of it. But I mean, even if you want to play it safer, just do a 14-frame Punisher, and before he even gets to move, he's getting hit. But I mean, overall, it does 22 damage total if both of them hits. So nothing insanely scary, at least to me. God, what else? Down 12, which is, I mean, I actually do like that. That's pretty good.
It's cool looking, but that shit is so easy to block on reaction.
Yes, it is, but it does high crush. So, I mean, that's something to consider, especially considering how much damage it does. It hits you pretty hard and puts you in a really bad guessing game because of his pickup options.
I think you can even reaction low parry that shit.
I'm sure you can. But, again, I mean, they're tools, but, I mean, if you guess right against him, it hurts him so much. It's not like these things are just -10 or -12.
Build yourself a solid anti-Lars strategy, and then, you can hurt him for these things, his incorrect guesses and everything, more than he can hurt you. Yeah,
pretty much. So, I mean, I agree. He has down 4 generic low. We love our generic lows.
Amen.
But that's all I can think of that's really worth a damn.
Like most of our listeners, they see a generic, low 4, and you're going to have to eat about 30 of them to die.
Yeah.
It's a good, useful tool, and I'm still telling you, use and abuse. But Lars already has a low problem, and that one alone isn't going to win him. Yeah, no. I think what keeps him safe when he does lows, at least what I see when I see people playing him and playing against him, is the fact that he does do so much damage if he hits you with a launcher, like forward 2. So it's really, I mean, you're taking a big gamble if you block low. That's the only thing that I can see giving him a huge advantage. But even other characters like the other top tier characters that we consider top tier, or like top 5, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of other characters that have the same risk reward for their lows, highs, or at least, the same reward with not as much risk. I don't deny his mid safety, and he's got good risk versus reward on all those launchers. But when you're turtling or whatever, and you're basically, I don't know, It's hard for you to crack, and once you finally do guess right on a low, it's fucking homicide.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that's what has to save him is the fact that he just hits you so hard. And I mean, in that case, as a overall view of a character, I see him a lot like Steve, who's more punishable. Because Steve, I mean, for the most part, they do a lot of the same things well, except Steve doesn't get hurt nearly as bad for his guesses.
And he's got better lows, too.
I don't know.
Down back 3-2, I mean, that is...
Yeah, that's solid, but it doesn't really... I mean, in my eyes, it's about the same as forward 3-4. The only exception is the fact that, I mean, in wall situations, Steve can actually relaunch with down back 3-2.
Well, if you do down back 3-2 and they get up, I mean, you're gonna kill them.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, like in general, he hits you really hard, and that's a lot of what has to do with your opponent fearing you. Is that I'm going to take your entire bar if I hit you.
I just look at counter hit characters, and I mean, you have to have a reason to force them to counter hit, like give you that shit, and scaring them with lows is integral to the counter hit game.
All right then. So we have the lows and stuff. Let's see. Was there anything else you wanted to add to that little section? Because I was listing off the lows and. And you just kind of chill.
It's all the same. I've been saying it the whole time, and on that rant. So yeah.
Okay. So
I don't want to give people the same shit all the time. Extends.
So okay. So on the topic of lows. Okay. So we did just discuss that low. So if you're a Lars player, I mean, a lot of people will build up those lows, and there's no reason that you shouldn't use them. I mean, forward 4-3 does a ton of damage, and I mean the amount of damage it does, especially when you're in rage, is ridiculous. I mean, that move, it does 40 damage outside of rage. So, I mean, it's better than a Hell Sweep, almost. So, I mean, a lot of people like the knockdown stuff, which I think gives Hell Sweep the advantage, but...
Does he even have, like, a real knockdown low aside from slow shit?
The down 12. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, that's all I can fucking think of.
Forward 4-3, 3+4 doesn't knock down. Down
back. He doesn't even have that.
Yeah, down back 1-3 doesn't block down or knock down. Down 3-1 doesn't.
Yawn.
So none of that stuff knocks down. But I mean, I guess as it plays into his strengths, that's probably a good thing because he doesn't have the really nasty Oki game. If you look at down 12. The one move that does knock down, it actually plays to his pickup options. So
Oki is short for Okazeme, which means wake-up games, kids.
Yeah. So the one move, or at least low, that he has that knocks down actually does play into his Oki strengths. So I don't know. I would say that knocking down isn't all that important. I mean, we talked about earlier about the grabs, how knocking away is kind of detrimental to him. I mean, in order for him to really run his game on you, he needs to knock you down and be in your face. So, I don't know, take that for what it's worth. But so I feel like we've covered most of it. I mean, he does ridiculous amounts of damage. We've covered his launchers. He does have some counter hit juice with his launchers, like down 4-2 on counter hit.
Good move.
Yeah, good move. I'm fairly certain it's safe on block, so you don't really have to worry about getting punished for just throwing it out there. I mean, it doesn't leave him in a great situation because it's borderline punishable, but still, I mean, for the amount of damage that you get.
Don't fuck around frames.
Yeah, don't fuck around frames. But I mean, still, even despite the don't fuck around frames, it's still something safe that you can throw out there that, if you get lucky, you're going to...
The other thing about these don't fuck around frames is, like, even his panic buttons, as good as they are, if you're in don't fuck around frames, I mean, that's pretty good for the other person because his panic buttons won't get around a lot of them.
That's true. And
he doesn't have quite enough.
Well, one thing about the panic buttons, I should note. I mean, well, essentially his only panic button is up forward 3, but
Oh, he's got that other bullshit where he jumps backwards too.
where he jumps backwards.
What is it, like down both punches or down back? One of them.
Oh yeah,
One of them's actually okay.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you're right. It's down back 1+2. But and that's pretty good. But down back 1+2 is punchable. So I mean, in the realm of panic buttons, it's no Magic 4.
That's true.
It's no Steve's back 1. You know, so no. Like, I mean, it's really good. I would just say that his
Michael Winslow won't be doing impressions of those moves.
no, he will not, because he'll just be doing grunts and O's a whole lot.
He'll be doing the punches that you get hit with.
Yeah. But, I mean, up forward 3 is very useful, but, I mean, for those out there who are scared of up forward 3, it's very useful in that it's insanely quick for what it is. Crushes highs and lows. And then you get insane damage when it does hit. But it's linear. If it does manage to track you, I've seen it a lot where because it'll only do 2 hits if the first hit hits you, and I've seen tons of situations where the opponent will step, the first hit will hit them, and then because of the angle, the second one whiffs.
And I'm just going to keep stepping him.
Yeah, and there's really nothing to scare you from sidestepping. I mean, I'm
going to be stepping like I have ADD.
Yeah, I mean, you have back 1, but I mean, as a Lars player, you're going to have to use it to try to get them to stop stepping, but playing against Lars. Yeah.
How many kids with ADD does it take to change a light bulb?
Oh, I don't know.
Want to go for a bike ride?
I've never that one. And yeah, speaking of ADD, so we got Lars. And man, like, I feel like we've just exhausted everything this character has. I do want to say some good things about Lars, because I do like playing him, and I do think he is strong. I do think he does destroy, a lot of characters out there. I personally can't put him in top tier, because I just think there's so many characters. So many. But, I mean, I think there's a lot of characters out there that destroy him. So,
and a patient player.
Yeah, but he does do massive damage. He has a tracking issue, but with stuff like down back 2-1, which is really, really good. I can't stress how good that move is. It's mid, does really good damage if it hits, completely safe, really good range. I mean, that's bread and butter if you're going to play Lars, in my opinion. So, I mean, he is mid-heavy in general. So, I mean, even
which is always good.
Yeah, so even if you want to take a safer approach and not throw out all of the lows, and maybe just every once in a while throw out forward 4-3 or something, just to kind of let them know that you have them, and just kind of sit with your heavy game. I mean, that's a bad way to play it.
But you definitely have to play a spacing game with
and I should also mention down back 4. That's one of the moves that I see people using a ton of. That's probably the most used low I see.
Really? That shit is so blockable.
It is blockable. However,
reaction blockable, kids.
Yeah, it is, but it's still really fast for what it is. And I mean, it does go under highs, so I mean that's always something. And on counter hit, it gives you a juggle. And although it's not a huge juggle, it's not insane damage, it's still a healthy chunk. So it's something you have to be aware of if you're just throwing out highs all day. And I guess if you're playing Lars, I mean, if you notice your opponent throwing out highs, that's probably going to be your best tool. But yeah, I mean, just like forward 4, a ton of other moves, if they block it, he has a block stun. So I mean, you're getting launched for your crimes against humanity. But
for your use of shitty lows.
Yeah. So, God, what else is there? I mean, his grabs.
I think you've got it all wrapped up. I mean, once people know how to react to a lot of his new shit, that people get confused with the dynamic entry or whatever the fuck that garbage is. I don't know. Once you recognize the player and everything.
Oh, and a note about
so
his stance. His well, first of all, his dynamic entry. I mean, he can go into his stances off of his off of a few moves, but just if you do it in general, for Lars players, it's forward 3 to go into dynamic entry. Silent entry, he has to do out of another move, but dynamic entry you can just do by yourself. But dynamic entry, 1 and then the just frame 2, that's really dangerous. I mean, that's pretty silly because the 1 is I'm fairly certain that's a mid. Actually, I know it's a mid, and then the 2 is a high. But I mean, the just frame does tons of damage, puts you in a really good situation. So I mean, that's really good. But if you're playing against Lars, his grab out of his stance, he only has a 1+2. So just keep that in mind if you see him do that stance and rush at you really quick.
Unless he sidestep cancels.
Yeah, and that's really the only thing that you can do against that. I mean, if I'm playing against a Lars, and I were to recommend something to somebody, if you see that stance, don't even duck. You don't really need to. Just stand, and if a grab comes out, you just break 1+2.
If you're good at reaction throw breaking, you're awesome, but if you're not, big deal.
I mean, whatever. I just thought I should mention that because a lot of Lars players will praise dynamic entry 1-2, especially the just frame version of it. So, and it is juicy. It is very much juicy and causes wall splat. So, I mean, tons of damage plus wall splat equals more tons of damage. So you can't.
Decent approach move.
Yeah,
it's no forward both punches.
No, it is no forward. I do prefer forward both punches. We didn't really talk about the wall stuff all that much. For those who play Lars, he has down back 2-1, and then shoulder is his typical wall ender, and that does a fuck ton of damage. Without the bound, forward 2-1, and then you do down back 2-1, shoulder is real heavy damage. I'm sure he has some other stuff out there, but that's pretty standard.
Solid on the wall.
Yeah, pretty solid. And I guess at the wall, because he has sidestep 2 and down forward 12, although they are slower, if you have to get up in order to block them, obviously you're not going to beat them out. So something to think about if you're playing Lars. I mean, he does have really good wall pressure if he hits you. So. I feel like there's something else, some more notes about this character we should throw out. I can't really think of anything. I mean, I think we covered mostly everything. I just think he's overall just a very, very unsafe character, and that just the only redeeming factor is that he just hits really, really hard.
For sure.
But that's about it. But I also feel about him, and actually, okay, before I get into that, is there anything more that you wanted to add?
No, not about this useless fuck.
So that'll end like the overview section of the character. But let's talk tiers. So I kind of feel like Lars is sort of like Bob in the respect that he's newer. So for whatever reason.
Oh God! Yeah.
Everyone plays up his strengths and kind of ignores his weaknesses.
People are just afraid.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do is because he hits so hard. Bob does the same thing. I mean, Bob does tons of damage. I think his wall game is kind of weak, at least in my opinion. But the fact that he has Bob has good Okies, so I mean that makes
Bob's good.
Yeah, Bob is good, but I feel like a lot of people are just really, really scared of these characters because they're so fucking new.
But once you understand them...
Yeah, exactly. I've never really been scared of a Lars. Never really had, like, a huge issue with a Lars. And I do just want to throw out, no one's mentioned anything about this at all or said anything, but... I mean, you and I have been around. We've played Koreans. We've played...
We get around.
Yeah. It's not like we're playing, your average scrub that goes to the mall and whatever.
We're not just theory fighting out of our ass. I looked at his shit. He doesn't have anything.
Yeah. I mean, the theory fighting is there. But
that dude don't scare me at all.
But, I would put him at high mid. That's where I would put him. I wouldn't even put him in top tier because I think there's at least 7-8 characters that I would put above him, just off the top of my head, and I think that you can argue for a few others being just as good as him. So I don't know, but where do you put him? Because I know you have a lot of Lars hate, mostly
I think
for all the
at very best, he's mid, and it's mainly to do with the game is decently balanced. So not being able to kill a turtle in such a turtle-friendly game like Tekken, I mean, it's rough. So I have him at mid at the highest. I don't know, low mid maybe.
Yeah, and man, it's just so weird to me that people would put him at number 1, because I just don't see it. I don't see anything that he does better than anybody else. Even the damage. Even if you include how much damage he does, Steve does just as much damage. Nina does just as much damage. There's at least 10 other characters that if they hit you to the wall can do way more damage. So I don't know. I just don't see it. And up 4-3 does not scare me at all.
No.
I mean, it's good, and it will make you eat the pain every once in a while, but if you have somebody who's trigger happy with it, they're going to lose.
Safe defensive options against him, just killing backdash and sidestep. I mean, you just space shit out like back one and sidestep, the rest of it.
Yeah. And even his lows that typically track only one way. I mean, down back 4 only tracks one way. I'm pretty sure it's to his left. And then forward 4-3 is the same way. Forward 3+4 does that move barely tracks. And even if it does hit you when you're sidestepping, it's usually because you're at range. And of like the 3 hits of that move, only the first one will get you. So
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I just don't see it. Yeah. So
sorry, kids.
Yeah, and for those who like Lars, like personally, I like playing him. I do think he's a fun character to play. And
I like playing against him.
Yeah, and you would. And he does have some tools. But
I can't wait for you fuckers to post in that goddamn thread on TZ. Get in there. I can't wait to hear your bullshit.
Mix it up.
Ugh.
Absolutely. So
you know what else I can't wait for?
What's that?
I can't wait for when we start implementing guests. I mean, you balance my shit out because I don't know, like we're homies, We joke around all the time.
Yeah,
we're like two different kinds of comedians, different style or whatever. But we're in search of the quotey fingers straight guy, You guys can't see it, so I have to tell you, quotey fingers.
Yeah. You're in search of one who believes all these myths that we try to debunk.
Yeah, if I ask you dick or vagina, we both know it's dick. We need
time.
That. We need
that
never
changes.
Seriously,
it hasn't for thousands of years.
But we need that guy. We need the quotey fingers straight guy, who's like, no. I love the females and I respect them. Golly, we need that guy. Get that guy. Sign him up.
I want that guy on the show. I want to talk to that guy.
He's my new BFF.
Well, I make you, Dan, a promise, as well as a promise to all of our listeners. We will get some guests on. Know this.
Yes.
We've already been talking to folks. We just got to get schedules arranged. So we will get guests for all of you people out there who somehow, I don't know how, but somehow are sick of just our voices. But
we are dick lovers in search of vagina lovers.
Yeah. So, God, I love that. I love that soundboard of one sound that you have.
That one sound.
But
I'm working on others. I am.
That's okay. I'm excited. I can't wait. So you know what? That
can't be sponsored by Extends unless you have at least that noise.
That's true. You do need a bling for sure. Okay, so that's I'm gonna officially put a wrap on our Lars talk. I think we've settled it pretty well. At least for us.
We have closure now. Post in our thread so that
And I should note just one lasting note. Lars, kind of like Steve, he's kind of a boring character.
Is this the Jerry Springer final moment?
Yes, the final moment. What we should learn from this is that Lars has some juice. But he can...
Don't freak out.
Don't freak out. Hold your composure. And if you're playing Lars, chances are you're probably just going to stick to the same 6 moves. So There's really, really not a whole lot to discuss. Even if you're doing crazy spinnies out of moves and other strings, it really doesn't get all that complicated. So all right, we'll end that, and then we'll move.
Do you have more like special topics?
Special topics? I always have great things to talk about.
I love this.
But
this is my favorite part of the podcast.
But today, I always have good stuff to talk about, but nothing that's really like important. That's so crucial that we should talk about it right now.
We aren't curing polio or whatever?
No, we're not curing polio. So sorry.
God, I wish they would do that.
But yeah, I mean, do you have any like topics, like hot topics that you really want to talk about?
Oh, I've got a surprise, but I'm saving it.
Oh, you're saving it? Is it for later?
Yeah.
For later? Okay. Well, you
After
know what?
The rant.
In the spirit of extends, let's talk about girls. Let's talk about the vaginas.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
You guys gross me out.
But because when I was listening, it's been a while now, but you know,
I haven't asked. So do dudes. Shut up.
you know who Maximilian is. He's been around for a while, and he's
That fuckhead?
yeah, and he's
Sorry, Max.
and he's been in Korea for a little while now, and he's I guess people call him LD Maxi. I don't know who that is, but I know Maximilian. That's who I know. But
I know.
he was
He's a
chatting.
good guy.
And Eris asked him a really, really funny question. Because you know how StarCraft is and how Tekken is over in Korea and you know how it's so huge and stuff. And he was...
Oh, that's how this ties into women, huh?
yes, because he asked him, he was like, so these dudes go out and like, they're just mauled by women and...
What?
Blah, blah, blah. I mean, does that happen? I mean, do they just constantly get pestered and all this other stuff? And,
want to see my actions per minute?
yeah. Well, and, you know, Maxie was like, no. And I mean, that doesn't really happen ever. So I want to ask you the question, Dan. Why doesn't that happen? Why don't we have,
Why don't we get Mad Poon?
yeah, why isn't there more Poon out there? I mean...
Well, I think of all the fighting games, Tekken players really should. I mean, it's like the jock of fighting games.
Yeah,
it's all about the technical skill, well, not really technical, just like reaction block this, whatever.
I don't mean to brag or anything, but as a Tekken player, I mean,
it's not a big...
I can tell you that we are a sexy bunch.
We are. We're better than the Super Smash Brothers kids.
Yeah.
Like, every one of those fuckers a dirtbag. Every one of you looks like you came out of the 70s. Cut your fucking hair.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, we have, and you know, I should just say this of like the 3D fighters in general. We have some sexy players, some mad sexy players. Why aren't we getting the Poon? And it's really funny, and I should specify, why aren't we getting Poon for Tekken? Because that's what we should be getting Poon for. Because
you guys ever seen Spam Guy? Have you guys ever seen Shabbat? Have you guys seen John the Soulless Hammer?
Oh, if you haven't, you should. Sometimes, John the Soulless Hammer, I just want to make a note to all those who haven't seen him. He moonlights every once in a while as the lead singer of this band called Godsmack, I think. And, yeah, so if you just look that up...
He's doing the best he ever did.
I mean, yeah. And sometimes, you know, you have to pay the bills, so that's what he does. Unfortunately, Tekken doesn't pay the...
Alive and still kicking.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you haven't seen that guy, go look him up, and then you'll understand what we talk about when we say sexy. So, but thank you. And promoting extends, so... But why doesn't that work? That's my question. I guess it's more of a rhetorical question.
Well, I would say it's all Tekken players too, because I heard the East Coast players, they're so ugly they need to take extends, you know, just a one-man the show when they make a date with Handria.
That's harsh. Ooh, that's harsh.
East Coast players, get in that thread.
Oh, I like it. I like how you're starting wars in order to get some some attention. I like that. Ooh, wow.
Wait till we get an East Coast guy on here. First thing he's gonna do is, I don't know, punch me through the fucking screen.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, listen, we got wings for days.
I'm like, keep your girlfriend's back. Stop.
Oh man. And Yeah, I guess I just don't get it. And what's funny is that we, as gamers, like as far as the crew that the guys that I most know or know most well, like they're all getting pooned, but like outside of Tekken, like it's no problem. But once you start playing Tekken, like
they're gone.
Although I should make note, since we are John the Hammer Solus fans here on this podcast, that he has more than a few times picked up women at a bar with the line, "I play Tekken." I'm just putting that out there. He's done it.
They like his confidence.
I think so.
I like his confidence.
You play video games? That's amazing. I'm going to ride you right now.
I think it's just because he's a Marduk player.
I think it has to do with him having his own band. That's what I would do, but whatever.
Tips for sexiness from John the Solus Hammer. I can't wait till we get...
Oh, that should be our next podcast. We need to do that.
We got to get him.
I need to tell him to make that podcast. Oh, that's brilliant, Dan. Right. This is our creative time. Oh, I love it. I'm writing that down right now. Can you hear me? Hold on.
It's our boy. We love him.
I'm writing right now.
He's the only Tekken player we like, by the way, guys.
The only Tekken player.
The rest of you are just, you disgust me. You know Michael Winslow posting motherfuckers?
Yeah. That's kind of sad. We haven't nearly gotten as much Michael Winslow love. You know what? I'm throwing this out there for everybody. Question and answer time. We will do it. Post up your questions. We will refuse to answer them on the thread, and we will answer them.
Oh, that would be great.
If you want to email, PM, whatever.
I can't wait to not answer your shit.
Yeah. Well, I'll answer some of them. I mean, we'll pick and choose, of course.
You better make that question good, Sparkle.
We're snobbish, so... Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to read everything, but...
I only answer questions from 7s or better.
Okay, so addendum, questions and answers with photos. You must send us along with your question and answer. And trust me,
I like that we're taking that.
We've searched the internet. We know if you have a fake...
We know how ugly you are.
Yeah, we know if you have a fake pic, so don't try to fucking ruse us. All right. Yeah.
We'd only ask Tekken players, and well, let me give a shout out to Big Mike. Love that man. That is the sexiest 2D player there is. You 2D fruity players. He's the only good one. 2D no fruity.
All right. Well, that's really all I have, man, of the general stuff. I mean, there's really nothing hopping right now. No real awesome.
So is it time for the rant?
It is, unless you want to do your surprise beforehand. Up to you.
The surprise should be at the end.
At the end. Oh, ooh, yeah, I like it. It's like the sprinkles.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh,
this is dessert.
Add that on to the end of it. All right, then. Well, before we start, if this is somehow your first podcast of us, I don't know how it could be. But this last portion we dedicate, it's called Sound Off, and pretty much it follows.
I'm renaming it.
You're okay, go ahead. What is the sections?
It is 60 seconds with Extends.
60 seconds. How about brought to you by Extends?
All right, whatever it is, it's 60 seconds.
Yes. Indirectly sponsored by Extends. And
we're not saying that Extends makes you that fast. We're saying you are that fast without it.
Exactly, and they're trying to make you a better person. Okay, so the premise of this section is pretty simple. What angers you? So far, Dan and I have traded off, and when we get guests on here, we are going to make them do that. And just rant for days.
But I am today's Minuteman.
But Dan is up once again. He is the Minuteman. So Dan, tell me.
60 seconds by Extends, where we discuss a hard issue and cram it down your throat.
Extends. What makes you angry? What pisses you off? Tell me.
Well, Scott, who used this even in this same podcast, it's the term priority. The term priority is used way too much. This isn't a game like we just added in like Tekken 5. They added moves that crush other moves like the Forward 4-2 with Bruce. Those types of moves that actually prioritize certain moves. The Bruce Forward 4-2, if you don't know, it auto parries punches. So aside from that, there's no real thing like priority because In Tekken, it's all about the frames. It's impact or whatever. People call Electric Wind Godfist the move with the most priority ever. It's just a fast move. It's not that it out-prioritizes anything. Get it fucking straight. Priority implies that it just overrides your move. And maybe a move is fast, maybe it has evasive frames to help go around shit, but it's not out-prioritizing. That's my rant.
That's your rant?
That's my rant.
That's a funny rant. You know what? I'm gonna leave it as it is. I don't totally agree with that. But you know what? That was your time. So I'm gonna let the people soak that in. This man hates you and your priority. And with his priority, he just dick slapped you and told you to stop using that word.
Splash. And by the way, because we didn't really mention it, I did have my pants down for that.
Oh, yes.
Only waited 60 seconds.
I figured that was just a given. I mean, I expect it. I can see you through our webcam, so. Yeah, so I mean, I know. Even if
spinning around like a helicopter.
Yeah, even if they don't, whatever. Okay, cool. That was an excellent rant. I liked it very much so. So surprise time. I want to know what my surprise is. I'm anxious.
Are you excited?
You're leading me on.
Take your pants off.
Okay.
This is how I do business.
I like it. You're going to make me go into business mode in order to...
All right, while he's doing that, I'll explain. If you guys haven't been listening to these podcasts, we're referring to the move numbers, we have been, as player names, like from professional sports or whatever. Instead of 1 + 2, we call it 12 when we're talking. So then we upgraded that, as a joke, we just started calling 3 + 4 Herschel Walker because his number was 34.
For all those who are idiots and don't know who Herschel Walker is.
Morons. So I have prepared this this notation, this special notation for fans of that. I'm going to tell you, people, I'm going to give you the instructions on how to do the rolling death cradle using player names. Professional sports athletes.
Wait, okay, say that part. You said something about rolling death cradle. I didn't catch that.
I'm going to teach people how to do the rolling death cradle.
Oh.
King's biggest damage multi-throw.
I am ready for this.
But I'm going to tell you how to do it using professional sports figures.
I can't wait for this. This is
all right. You ready?
I'm ready. Go ahead.
First, I have to turn away from the microphone to breathe. Okay. To execute the rolling death cradle, you must crouch dash plus Michael Jordan. Then, Derek Jeter to Tom Brady to Derrick Rose plus Doug Harvey plus Babe Ruth. Then, A-Rod to Herschel Walker to Bernie Federko to Terry Bradshaw to Warren Moon plus John Wall plus Bronco Nagurski plus Lou Gehrig.
That was quite possibly the most amazing thing I've ever heard.
Study it up.
Oh, man. You're going to after we put this podcast up, you're going to have to put that up in the thread so that people can write that down and take it with them. That is amazing. Wow. I'm blown away. I'm.
If your move list on your game doesn't have it, that's okay. Come to a tournament. I will show you where on my PlayStation it says that.
Wow. I was definitely not expecting that, and it was. I had to turn the mic off. It was that good.
I love referring to him as that.
Well, yeah, that's because rather than just be an idiot who can take shit and regurgitate it, you're gonna have to think.
I'm a different kind of idiot.
No, not you. I'm saying our listeners, rather than just listening to us and thinking that we're giving them some sort of.
If anyone ever executes that in a tournament and they call out every move, I will give you $5. Make sure I'm there though. If you execute it at a tournament that I am there and you can execute the rolling death cradle and call it out like that, $5 instantly yours.
You know what? I'll double that bet. I'll do 10. And more than that, you know what? I'll accept video from a tournament. So long as it's a legit tournament. I don't care.
Legit, yeah. We don't want you hosers beating up your fucking cousins.
Yeah, I don't care about basement brawls.
Dude, he gets around on me every now and again. What?
Yeah, no thanks. But yeah, wow. Yeah, that would be amazing. Shit. I'm still totally off for the fact that that's That's what you just did. Like,
I actually
that
can't
was
wait
history.
to listen to this podcast.
Yeah, I think we just made history with that. I think that's what happened. That was in a first for the online community, and you heard it here on the VGF Strat Corner podcast.
Sexiest podcast.
The sexiest podcast, where only we can make moves. Hall of Fame. Well, that I don't think we can top that. Do you? I think that was.
That's me. I'm spent. I'm ready for a sandwich and a nap.
Yeah, me too.
That was.
So yeah, kind of like Steve. Not a lot of ours, but we hope that we hope that all the extra stuff and the extra sex we gave you in this podcast makes up for the lack of a character that Lars is. So with that, Dan, if you have any parting words, say them now.
Lars players, you suck.
Oh, ouch. There's some pretty big Lars players out there, pretty big names. Can't wait for them to derail us. It'll be great.
Shove it in your hole, man.
I like that. I like it. All right, so that's it for us. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for another episode. We hope this was educational as much as it was sexy. So you guys have a great evening.